The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Montesano, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32366. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find two open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, on the passenger and driver side, you'll find dual air horns. Located on the passenger face bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the top of the bumper, you'll find your bell. Moving just inside the tubbed storage location, you'll find an 1.5 inch swivel discharge. And just on the outer edge of the driver's side top face of the bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren. There are also two hose protectors located on the passenger and driver's side. Moving up to the body, you'll find forward-facing headlights, low beam and high beam. Just above the headlight cluster, you'll find your forward-facing turn indicator and emergency light. And on the outer edge, you'll find your turn marker. Here are some closer images. Swivel discharge 1.5 inch inside the tubbed storage location for your hose. As we look to the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the body itself, just over the front tire, you'll find an emergency warning light. There are two grab handles for access for firefighters, in addition with two easy latch door openers which are keyed. Located just behind the driver door, you'll find the auto eject 20 amp plug. Your mirrors have convex and flat portion. Moving all the way to the top, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Just inside the driver's step well, you'll find your air inlet. As we move inside the cab, on all points of entry for personnel, you'll find warning labels. Please seek the owner's manual for more information. There's also a seatbelt information sign, including red seatbelts for easy visual identification. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find additional information regarding your manufactured from Pierce for your fire department with a manufactured date, job number, gross vehicle weight rating, in addition with VIN number. This also has the fluid capacities for your vehicle. As we look inside the driver's seat, you'll find comfort controls on the right-hand side of the seat, in addition with the ability to tilt the seat forward and backwards. As we look at the feet area for the operator, you'll find in the left knee area the quarter-turn master battery switch. Just next to it, you'll find your diagnostic information switch for the engine and transmission. And then just beneath that, you'll find a set of switches, which are your ABS diagnostic and also your DPF regen. At the floor level, you'll find a mechanical siren. Moving to the right, you'll find the brake treadle, and then further to the right, you'll find the accelerator. Let's go ahead and now move up to the dash area. At about the right knee location of the operator, you'll find your pump shift. This is to move from road to pump and from pump to road. You'll find two green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump. Up from that location, you'll find your high idle engage. And then to the right, you'll find your pull to apply system parking brake, push to release. Moving all the way down just slightly to the right, you'll find your mirror controls for the flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the top, you'll find your siren and PA control system. Just to the side, you'll find your windshield wiper control, push to apply fluid. As we move further down, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, perimeter lights, mirror heat, and load manager. Just beneath that, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. Here's some close-ups of those identified items. First, your siren and PA system, in addition with climate control. Overhead of each personnel, you'll have push on and off red and white lights.
And we'll move through these items and talk about some of the items starting on the left-hand side over the driver's head. Let's start first with the emergency master, electric or air horn switch, siren brake in red, and the high beam flash on the far right. There are 2 future switch locations in this panel that can be utilized at a later date. Let's move just slightly to the right where you'll find your front flood, driver's side cab scene, passenger side cab scene, driver's side pump body scene, passenger side pump body scene, and then the rear scene. When those switches are activated, the green indicator will illuminate. Moving slightly to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor. Overhead directly in the center of the cab, you'll find a red puck style light. This is the do not move your apparatus if this light is illuminating. We're back on the outside of the body now. This is the shoreline inlet. It is a 20 amp auto eject plug. At the very top of the cab, you'll find a side scene light. And as we move down now to the very base, you'll find in the stepwells additional lighting. In the crew cab area, you'll find at the hinge point this red grab handle to assist firefighters in and out of the cab. Located at the rear section of the motor, you'll find this drop-down access point. This is for your oil and transmission checks. There is a light inside this compartment. Let's move to the outside section of the body. Just a quick view here of the pump panel. We'll talk about that next. Let's move down just underneath the truck where you'll find perimeter lighting for all of your access points on the passenger and driver side. As we move further into the cab for the step area, you'll find this latch, which allows you additional storage in the stepwell area. In between the walkthrough area, you'll find 2 fold-down steps. Let's move back out to the driver's side. At the lower section here, you'll find a tubbed storage location for hose storage. It does have a D handle on the top. There's also a notch on the left side of this image to allow your hose to connect to the driver's side running board discharge. Let's identify a few items here. Just above, you'll find your speed lay for number 1. It is water and foam capable. As we move to the right to the pump panel, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. You'll also find this warning label that only trained personnel should operate this, and seek the owner's manual for more advice. There is a warning label here regarding foam failure and not to mix brands or different types of concentrate. As we look inside the first pan door, you'll find the instructions on the left-hand side of the door. This is the lever which allows you to fill your foam system. Moving to the pump panel area once again, this is the type of pump that you have. Waterous CSU. It is a 1500 GPM pump, and then there is a placard underneath that for the minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in a moment. There are 2 discharges on this side of the pump panel, which are 2.5 inch, number 1 and number 3. There is also a pressure warning here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing them. Once again, that foam failure hazard regarding not to mix brands and concentrates. And to the right, you'll find your foam tank fill, draft foam tank lever on the right hand side. You do have an access panel behind, or rather to gain access behind the panel. Let's go ahead and move now to the cross section where you'll be standing to operate your pump panel. We'll move through those items next. This is a quick view of your pump panel. Starting on the driver's side, you'll find the number 1 and number 3 discharge. You'll also find they're color coded and labeled red and blue. Moving up, you'll find the tank fill recirculating line and the driver's side auxiliary inlet in black. Moving across, you'll find the driver's side running board discharge, number 1 speed lay, and driver rear discharge. Once again, foam and water capable on the 2 left individual valves. You do have a tank to pump. This is the minimum maintenance schedule for 150, 200, 250 psi for your GPM and PSI. There's also a warning here regarding fall hazard, not to ride on the side of the vehicle while it's in motion. This is your electric prime. There is also a caution label just below that operating the primer pump for more than 1 minute continuously may cause damage. Let's move slightly to the left, moving toward the passenger side. We're going to find the deluge discharge. You can see it's a wheel valve at the very top. Moving just slightly to the left, you'll find your passenger side running board discharge, water and foam capable. You do have a Husky 3 foam system. Here are the specifications regarding that foam system for solutions capabilities. Just above, you'll find your Sigtronic. The lower section is where you plug in, and the top portion is the push-to-talk. As we move further to the left, you'll find your front discharge, water and foam capable. The number 2 speed lay, water and foam capable. The number 4 passenger side discharge. And now let's move all the way to the passenger side of the vehicle, where you'll find your passenger side auxiliary inlet in addition with the number 2 passenger side discharge. The red section module is your foam system. This is the Husky 3. There is a simple system on and off button in green. Just beneath that, you'll find a digital readout for the foam percentage, and below that, the 2 gray buttons will be the increase or decrease the percentage. To the right, if necessary, there is a prime button, in addition with a status system, which will flash green or yellow. At the very top, you'll find the operating instructions. And then to the right, you'll also find the foam level indicator from refill, quarter, half, 3/4 to full. Let's move to the right of this location. You'll find the engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then further to the right in the blue section module, you'll find your water tank level from full, 3/4, half, quarter to refill. As we move to the top in the gray module area, you'll find your master intake and master discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. Let's move slightly to the right from this location, where you'll find your Pierce throttle control module. If illuminated, the check engine light will be in the yellow. To the right, there is a digital readout for the RPM. Moving further to the right, you'll find a stop engine. If illuminated, this would be in red. You also have the orange menu button to select through the various menus. There is also engine diagnostic information here that you can see across the digital readout. Moving further to the right in red, this is the silence, which will silence the audible alarm. And then as we move down to the left, the 2 blue buttons, those are your selections. You have choices of either pressure or throttle control RPM. There is also a digital readout in the menu section. And then as you move further to the right, you'll find a green indicator light indicating that your throttle is ready to engage. And then just beneath that, you'll find the green preset button for pre-designated GPM or pressure control presets. As we move further down, you'll find the wheel, which is the idle control, and then to the right you'll find the audible alarm, which can be dampened by turning left or right. Moving slightly to the right, you'll find a set of switches. Once you've exited the cab with 2 green indicators on the pump shift, you should come out and find the pump engaged, a green indicator. You also have your panel lights, driver's side, passenger side scene lights, and a red air horn switch. Next to it, you'll find an access panel door. As we move to the dunnage area, directly in the center, you'll find your Crossfire TFT master stream device. Moving to the right and left, you'll find additional telescoping lights. Let's move to the outer edge of the apparatus. You'll find on the passenger and driver's side access to the backboard storage location. We'll now move to the driver's side body. We'll talk about some of the items here. In front and to the rear of the rear wheel, you'll find storage locations for your wheel chocks. On the side, you'll find a midship marker light. You also have emergency lights just over the rear wheel and at the very top rear. There are 2 pan-style doors here, which we'll talk about in just a few moments. As we move to the very top, you'll find a side scene light. Moving to the very back, you'll find 2 NFPA required step lights. As we move further down, I would like to point out this section here. This is where you'll find underneath the apparatus, these are your foam drain and also foam refill location. These are the 2 valves here clearly identified. Close-ups here of the wheel chock storage in front of the front tire. There's also one to the rear. The compartment doors are open now. We'll talk about some of the items within this area. Let's first start. You have a toolbox storage location in the first compartment. As we move overhead in this same compartment, you'll find shoreline outlet. When plugged into shore power, this will activate your battery charger. In the first compartment, just in front of the front wheels, you'll find a D-handled SCBA bottle storage location with retention straps. As we move to the back section or center area over the rear wheel, you'll find 4 SCBA storage locations. As we move to the rear pan door behind the rear wheel, this is the location for your DEF and diesel fuel. The silver cap is your ultra low sulfur diesel. As we move the flap downward, gains access to the blue cap, which is your DEF 4.5 US gallon tank. We're now to the rear compartment. Just to point out, there are LED lighting and adjustable shelving in all of your compartments. As we move to the rear, this is the location for your wheel chock storage. We're now to the rear section of your apparatus. Just a quick glance at the rear of the apparatus will cover some of those items also. As we move to the rear, you have your emergency light, brake light, turn light, and a reverse light. Moving up from that location, you'll find your license plate light and holder. Just slightly above that, you'll find on the passenger and driver side, you have rear scene lights. And at the very top, you'll find your emergency warning light. Just inside, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. As we move further up to the top, once again, your emergency warning light. Let's move just inside here to get a different angle. I'd like to point out a few warning labels. This is once again not riding on the back of the apparatus for danger of fall. And then there's also just a fall indication here regarding the warning label. There are 3 steps in the upper portion here. These are all fold down steps to gain access aloft. As we move further down in this section, you'll also find 1 additional fold down step on the passenger and driver side, with also sufficient lighting for those areas. The roll-up door in the back houses 2 shelves. The very bottom shelf is a pull-out style with slides. The release mechanism is on the right. As we move to the very top, this is your traffic advisor. Down to the very bottom, this is the right side or passenger side fold-down step. As we move to the far right, this is going to be the location for your ladder storage. This compartment houses behind the D-handled flap 2 ladders, a 24 and a 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof, and also a 10-foot folding ladder. You also have a 6 and 10-foot pike pole in the upper corner. Just a quick image here of the entire side of the apparatus. This is the passenger side. We'll move through some of those items as we work through some of the identifying factors. First, I would like to point out your exhaust comes out on this side. It's extremely hot, and be cautious as to where you park. In the very rear section, you do have a pull-out shelf. You'll find the release mechanism where the arrow is indicating. Same configuration on this side for the pan doors. We'll talk about the items here. This is SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. As we move to the center compartment just over the rear wheel, you'll find a D-handled tool board. Once that tool board has been opened, it will lock in position. The release mechanism is on the hinge side. Just in front of the rear wheel, you'll find an additional bottle storage location. That's the pan style with the D handle. That's this compartment here. There are 3 bottle storage locations in addition with retaining straps. Also, just a quick reminder, this location of your exhaust, be cautious as to where you park. That is extremely hot. As we move through the compartments, LED lighting and sufficient adjustable shelving. At the very top, we'll find your through compartment. This is for your backboard storage location. There's also sufficient grab handles for firefighters to go aloft into this midsection. And there are also 2 pan doors located here. We'll talk about the contents behind those doors in the next set of images. As we move forward, you'll find this module, which is going to be your cab tilt module. Got a close-up of that for instructions. You'll also find that there are 2 2.5-inch discharges on this side in this vicinity. There is also your large diameter pump intake behind the Pierce logo American flag eagle. As we move further down, you'll find your passenger side auxiliary inlet, and then all the way across the bottom, you'll find all your associated and color-coded drains. Let's look underneath this section here. You'll find perimeter lighting by the tubbed storage location. As we look just above this location, this is that tubbed storage location as it is on the other side. There is a D handle for access. There's also a discharge port, and then a cutout here for your hose to go down so that it can be pre-connected. Let's take a look at this compartment in the open position. And then we'll move through some close-ups of the things that we've already identified. Steps on the left-hand side here. We'll also talk a little bit about those pan doors next. First, in this compartment, you'll find your relief valve. This is the internal relief valve for your pump intake. At the very top, your backboard storage location. Let's move down now into the pump area. We'll talk about some of the items there. First, let's cover the items. This is an access panel. This is a quarter turn to gain access for identifying items within the pump panel area without having to remove the entire panel. This is your cab lift. There are instructions for lift and also lower. You'll also find a warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing those caps, potentially under pressure. You have your number 2 speed lay and then also your passenger side running board pre-connect. As we move to the section, you'll find walkway lights. Let's go ahead and start moving toward the inside section of the cab. We'll cover some of those items in that area. Let's start on the passenger side rear compartment crew cab. You'll find once again points of entry, the grab handle for making it easy for firefighter safety, and on the doors you'll find additional warning labels. As we look inside the cab, you'll find within the roll-up compartment door there is a access plug. This is when plugged into shore power, this will be activated. As we move to the passenger seat in the front, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper. You'll also find your rope for your bell. And then as we spin just slightly to the right behind the seat location, you'll find comfort controls on the left-hand side of the seat. Let's move up to the dash again. You'll find these candy cane labels. These are indicating that there is spare wiring behind this location and it's identified by the individual wire number. On the left, you'll find barrel style and also USB style 12-volt access. And once again, the rope across the front here for your bell. As we move to the center section, you'll find the air horn button, mechanical siren, and siren brake. Moving overhead of the passenger seat and also the driver's seat, you'll find push on and off red and white lights. Let's move back to the front of the apparatus. You have 3 windshield wipers across the one-piece seamless windshield. Moving just up above that, you'll find 5 running lights that run across the very top section. Located directly in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. And then as we move to the very top of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Congratulations, Montesano Fire Department, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32366. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.